Virgo, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for late June, moving into early July 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in energy and see what's happening for the lovely Virgo collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for the beautiful Virgo collective as we move from June to July? It is Cancer season, a beautiful time of year. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Virgo. Late June, early July. What's the vibe? What's the energy? We're going to have a good time, my friends. We're going to have some fun today, hopefully, regardless of what cards pop out. Okay, so this one, I don't want you to be alarmed by the symbolism, right? We have the little Red Riding Hood with the big bad wolf. And that's the first thing I always say. It's like, okay, relax. This could just be about focus, right? So I don't think it's necessarily like danger, danger, danger. So before we fully dive into it, though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the June subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about the card. So again, as you can see, we got Little Red Riding Hood. She's walking down a path in the woods with the big bad wolf. It has eyes on. So to me, the first thing I always think about is focused. Have you ever heard the phrase like energy flows where attention goes? That's always what comes to mind here for some reason. So it's like, I'm focused on this, I'm focused on this. So for some Virgos, maybe there's a situation where Spirit's like, hey, Virgo, you need to keep your eyes on this. Or, hey, Virgo, something else might need your attention. That's very possible when this card is here. Now, of course, when we have the big bad wolf staring down Little Red Riding Hood, it does make the hairs on the back of the neck stand up a little bit. To me, I don't think it's danger, danger, of course. We'll see what shows up within the reading itself. But to me, it's more like just move with caution. That could be a big thing here. Or you might just be getting a little more attention than you normally do. The main name of the game with this to me is attention. So whether you're receiving it, whether you're giving it, whether you need to spread it around, it's very similar to like the King of Wands archetype to me when we dig into the deeper aspects. So we're just going to put it down right there. We'll let them do whatever it is they're doing. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Let's shuffle it up one time here for my beautiful Virgo friends. What do we got? And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So there was a very strong magnetic energy, and it was titled Here They Come. Now, I did get a lot of people showing up in the energy, but the big thing I was getting was like things flocking in, things coming in. Now, that could be a good thing for some of you, but for some other Virgos, I was saying like you might need to watch out for overwhelm or just too much all at once, because it was like a lot of things popping up and coming in. So just know that energy could bleed over for a couple weeks, but we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards here for my Virgo friends. What do we got in late June, early July? All right, 4 swords. That's a chill energy. You know, normally I like an action card in the first position, but I'll take that 4 swords because it seems to be doing a lot of reflection. It does have similar themes to the Hermit card, which is one of your power cards. Let's get a couple more. What do we got for Virgo in late June? Okay, so we got the 10 of Swords right next to it. That's something we're going to have to watch out for, because that did also show up in the Capricorn reading. So we'll get that 10 of Swords right there. Let's get one more. We'll see how this all plays out. So that's a very healing type of energy. Okay, we have the 6 of Cups right here on the back end. Soul ties, soul connections, card of the past. It's a very sentimental type of energy. Now, let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like the elements are important because they frame the reading and they tell us how the energy is going to flow. And we have a combination of air and water. So these are all internal elements, whereas like the wands and the pentacles, that's outside circumstances. This is all on the inside. Now, when it comes to air, which is the predominant, that does deal with the mindset, the mind state. It could deal with perspective and how we view situations. Air is really strong when it's like giving, receiving, or searching for information. There's a certain curiosity to it. Another thing about air, it's very plan based, very pragmatic, very strategic. It's all about the fact of the matter, not so emotional. It's about the facts here. Which could be okay. And that's why this is the communication suit. But the downside to air is that since it is so cerebral, it could represent overthinking, dwelling on things, thought loops, things like that. It could also be very cold and detached. Moving to the back end here, we have the water. So we have the logic, we have the mind, and then we have the heart and the emotion. So hopefully you're not dealing with some sort of inner back and forth where it's like heart, mind, what I feel versus what the facts are, because that could be in play. But when it comes to water, I think of emotional attachment. So things, people, situations that we're emotionally invested in, things that we care about. It's a much softer, intuitive type of energy. So it could really speak about spiritual or energetic connections too. Water is very creative, it's artistic, it's expressive. So normally it's really nice. The only downside to water is that it can overwhelm, right? Just like the tides, they go in, they go out. There's not much controlling it. So there's ebbs and flows, and it can absolutely overwhelm. So as you can see, it's all internal energy here, and it was the same in the Capricorn reading. But let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we have the Four of Swords, right? And again, don't be alarmed by this whole combination. And as always, this is just an energetic weather report, right? Like, I mean, doesn't mean all this energy is definitely coming at you. Uh, Four of Swords, we see this person there. It looks like they're having a nap, taking a break. Maybe they're even praying, right? So this to me does deal heavily with spirituality, whether it's connecting to source, whether it's manifesting, whether it's going within, all that kind of stuff. It's extremely contemplative. That's why I said it reminds me a lot of the Hermit, because the Hermit energy, it retracts, it pulls back, and it spends time thinking. So again, whether this is somebody processing something, this could also represent a rest, needing to take a break. If you have a lot on your plate, a lot on your mind, the Four of Swords is Spirit saying like, whoa, 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 all right, slow it down here, Virgo. There's no rush. That's a big thing with this card. But what might be the downside of this? It could absolutely be the overthinking because it's so internal. We need to watch out for anxiety levels. But the Four of Swords could just represent, if not breaks or temporary stoppages, this energy can represent problems or energetic clunkiness or situations that are a little frustrating because it could feel like it's stuck between a rock and a hard place. So we're going to want to keep an eye on this. And moving to the center, right next to it, we have the Ten of Swords. Now, for those of you not familiar with tarot, as I try to get this card nestled in by the amethyst, the Ten of Swords is one of the bigger challenge cards in the whole entire deck, right? It's not the most pleasant imagery. Even this has a silver lining, though, and I'll mention it, but when we cast a big net of what this card could represent, it could represent the close of a cycle. It can absolutely represent endings. It can represent pain, emotional pain, physical pain. It's not a very pleasant energy. It's something that's difficult. So whether it is a situation, whether it is a close of a cycle, this energy does urge us to be a little cautious, right? So like when I see the Four of Swords and the Ten of Swords right next to each other, it's like, whoa, 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 caution, slow it down when this card is here. Um, there's other little meanings like, yeah, it could be betrayal, yeah, it could be brokenheartedness and all that kind of stuff. We're not going to dwell on it. To me, though, it represents either a thing or a situation that has happened. And in the positive sense, it's like there's nowhere to go but up, where it's like, okay, that happened, or yes, that is the situation, but where do we go from here? Right? That's a big thing with the Ten of Swords. So there's room for growth and a bounce back when this card is here in its most optimistic form. So we'll see what's going on. Now, moving to the back end, we do have that really, really strong sentimental, soft around the edges type of energy. We have the Six of Cups, and this is a card that could represent soul ties, soul connections, people that are very near and dear to our heart. But the biggest thing I always think of with this card is the past. Like this card is like reminiscing, taking a trip down memory lane, whether it's people that we've known for a long time, situations that we've spent a lot of time with. Like this to me is a lot of history when I see it. So again, it's nice, it's soft, it's a cuddly type of energy with a lot of love and care, which is really nice. but it does speak about the past. So it's interesting to me that I have the Four of Swords, Ten of Swords, and then a card of the past showing up. So maybe there's a certain thing or situation where the answer to the future lies in the past, or if you want to push forward, you already have the answer. We're going to see how it all plays out, because the Six of Cups could absolutely represent something popping back up too, like things returning, things bubbling back to the surface. So we want to see what's going on with that. I want to dive deeper on all of it though, Virgo. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yeah, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on that Four of Swords. And yeah, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Virgo, you could drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, why is the Four of Swords here for my good friends? Thank you. Okay, someone needs a break. That's just how it shows up to me. So I have the Page of Swords in reverse underneath the Four of Swords. And to me, this is screaming hermit-like type of energy, where it's like kind of drops off the face of the map, where it's like it needs hermit mode. It needs to recoil for whatever reason. And I'm going to explain the reasoning why. Now, the Page of Swords, as with all pages, represent, new things, fresh things, students, messengers. So it's big when it comes to conversation. So when I see it in reverse underneath the Four Swords, it's very hush hush quiet. So again, I'm not sure if this is a secretive type of energy, or something that you may not want to speak about, or somebody else, or they don't really feel like talking about something. All of that can be in play. It's just very quiet, very hush hush for some reason or another. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's this secretive energy showing up. And I'm not going to turn it into a whole big thing. It is what it is, right? And there's no judgment here. But the page is bringing me back to this card right here. Remember one of the things I said about the wolf and Red Riding Hood? It's about attention. It's about focus, whether you're giving it or receiving it. The Page of Swords is the watcher of the tarot deck, right? Eyes on. So when I see it in reverse underneath the Four of Swords, it's like, hey, you need to stop putting your attention towards that. Or even if it's just temporarily, it's like, stop putting your attention towards it. Stop feeding it attention. Stop feeding it attention. I don't know why it's showing up this way so strong. So those are the main two things I'm feeling here. Either someone doesn't want to be seen, or a spirit is like, hey, don't feed that attention, where it's just very, very hush hush quiet, very almost secretive. So we're going to keep moving. We're not going to overcomplicate it. It is what it is. Either way, let's keep. It feels very hermit-like. It's like retracted, solitude. Need a little bit of space. Very, very quiet. Let's keep moving over to the Ten of Swords. I mean, depending on what's going on, I get it, right? Everyone needs this type of mode from time to time. So if you're dealing with a lot, if you have a lot on your plate, this could be spirit saying like, hey, maybe you just need to insulate yourself, get into your little bubble for a while. I mean, unless you've already been there. Let's keep going in on the Ten of Swords. And yeah, some of you might be in that energy already, for all I know, right? So why is the Ten of Swords here? Okay. It's really, I think it's super important not to think worst case scenario for some reason, because I know with a lot of things and a lot of situations, what happens in the past does inform the future to an extent. But just because something has happened once does not guarantee that it's going to elapse the same exact way the next time around. I don't know why I'm going off on that tangent. I guess someone needs to hear that. Just because something has happened once doesn't mean it's going to go the exact same way if you deal with something similar again. Now, the Nine of Wands in reverse underneath the Ten of Swords, that may seem a little bit concerning, right? Because the Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior, and in its most positive sense, it's very cautious, it's very protective, territorial, it's keeping an eye on things. So you would think that we would want it in the upright with the Ten of Swords, because it's like, oh, I'm watching out for this. But when I see it in reverse under the Ten of Swords, it's like, okay, you don't need to have your guard up 24/7 about something, or it's like someone's nervous system needs a break, if that makes sense, where it's like it's heightened, where the energy is so heightened that it's like someone's experiencing a little bit of like burnout, if that makes sense. So watch out for like mental emotional burnout. This could absolutely be an energy where it's like nice slow recovery, right? Like when we have this energy here, the the Ten of Swords with the Nine of Wands in reverse, nice slow recovery. Do not rush it. Let it work through what it needs to do. But I do think the big important thing is, like, even if there are things or situations where you don't know all the facts or there's a lot of what ifs, the first thing that immediately popped into my mind was like, all right, it's really important not to assume the worst or don't think worst case scenario. Maybe in fact flip it the other way around, where even if reality is showing you the 10 of swords, maybe it's like, you know what, but it's all going to turn out for me. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I got to have that hope that things are going to go in the right direction. So it's all about mindset here. We're going to keep going. Now, again, for some of you, have you had a 10 of swords recently, an ending or some pain or a close of a cycle? That's very possible with what I'm seeing here. But this energy will not last forever. And it's not going to happen again and again and again. And it's like someone needs a little bit of a break here. Let's go in on the 6 of Cups. We're going to see what that has. Then we'll do a quick little recap. Maybe we're going to get a nice happy ending here, hopefully. But yeah, with the energy, it's just like so quiet while it rebuilds itself, right? Like that's how this feels. Very hush hush quiet while it rebuilds itself. Let's go in on the 6. This is pretty deep for a general reading, I could tell you that. Okay. Then the energy improves. Like if this energy progresses in the proper way, there is like a beautiful bounce back type of energy. So we have the Knight of Swords in the upright, very quick, very rapid, very sudden type of energy. So when I see it with the 6 of Cups, like this to me could be reinforcements too. So help or assistance. If you are going through any situation where you feel like you need a shoulder to lean on, or you feel like you need help, you need assistance, like don't be afraid to ask for it. That's part of what I'm picking up here. Because with the 6 of Cups, Knight of Swords, it's like if you need reinforcements, if you need assistance, it is available for you, even if you feel like there's not. So it's like somebody coming in as reinforcements. That's initially how this feels to me. But the energy does bounce back. That's the one thing I do like. The 6 of Cups with the Knight of Swords, it's very rapid, very sudden. So it's like if this energy just works how it needs to, there is this recovery that I think is really nice. Now, the Knight of Swords, out of all knights, they could be communicators, messengers. So we could have some sort of emotional talk here on the back end. If we put all the other messages from him to the side, because he's coming in with a message. And when I see the 6 of Cups, it's like a message where it's like, I'm here for you, or I am there, I care. This could be a venting session. So to me, the assistance, the help, the emotional support, it all plays a part, right? And I know I'm saying a lot of things because this reading is very complex, but I could say in this time, whether it's someone coming to you with all this energy or you going to someone else with all this energy, there's nothing wrong with having a shoulder to lean on sometimes, right? Or getting help if you need it. But yeah, this does feel like a big emotional talk or conversation potentially, but it feels good. Let's go through and do a quick recap because it's the opposite of what we have here on the front end. But if you kindly look in the box, position number 1, we do have a bit of a hush hush, retracted, quiet type of energy here. So that's why I like this back end energy even more, because it's very quiet, very hush, very secretive, but it does eventually open up. Aside from that, this could be an energy that just needs a little break, rest, recuperation. It needs to not be seen for a while. That's just how it's playing to me. Into the center, we have the 10 of Swords with the 9 of Wands in reverse. Very important to try to not think worst case scenario. Try your best to be optimistic and positive, even if reality is showing you the 10 of Swords. Sure, could there be some pain or endings for some of you? Yeah, there can be. But there is a bounce back here, which I think is good. There's something here about perspective, where just because something happened in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen over and over again. Moving to the back end, we have the 6 of Cups with the Knight of Swords in the upright. It feels like reinforcements coming in. So if you feel like you need help, feel like you need assistance, don't be afraid to ask for it for whatever, whether it's a friend, family member, professional. If you need help, it's there for you. But this is also a big emotional talk where, like, all this energy that was being very hush hush quiet about it, after it processes it, boom, then we have this conversation. So please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here for you, my friends. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. They could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. And if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. All right, let's get this going here. What do we got for the beautiful Virgo collective? Okay, 7 of Cups. Very cerebral, very mental. I like it, actually, because the Seven of Cups to me does represent options, choices, paths. So there could be a variety of situations that you're dealing with where, hey, maybe there's more paths forward than you think there are. Maybe you have more options than you think. In its roughest case scenario, this could be a plethora of options and paths where it's like analysis paralysis, where it's like, oh, this could go so many different ways. I don't know which road to walk down. So I would watch out for things like that. Now, the shadow side of the Seven of Cups, and I'm just going to make it very brief here, is it is very daydreamy, head in the clouds, fantasizing. So just like in the main part of the reading where I was like, hey, try your best not to think worst case scenario, or try your best not to let your mind get the better of you. That could be reinforced here with the Seven of Cups because it is thinking about everything, every scenario, every possibility, and it could overwhelm itself. So we're just going to leave it at that, Virgo. That's what I got for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details of the June subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. My June calendar is live and spots go quick, so you could go check that out. But for the June subscriber surprise, doing another winner's choice, the winners, which will be three, will have a choice between either the Everyday Witches Tarot, which is a lovely tarot deck, one of my all-time favorites, or you can choose a custom pendant from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's two simple things. As always, my friends, first, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the tarot cards in the deck, which one do you feel represents you and your energy best? You could even pick multiple if you'd like. You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab /post tab. My friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.